Beyonce couldn't get pregnant, not naturally. What I do know is this. Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump. It was lined up with the same timing of where Cathy White would have been in her second trimester. The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Cathy White would have delivered. We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate. They shut that hospital down like a president had just been. And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, paid this hospital.
It discloses that Cathy White, Jay's former lover, was carrying Blue Ivy when she passed away. This has been the subject of much conjecture, particularly since Jaguar Wright publicly blamed Beyonce for Cathy's passing. The allegations further claim that Beyonce forced Jay to remove Cathy and remove the baby she was carrying from Jay just before Cathy passed away. Blue Ivy was the baby's name. It seems that while Cathy was expecting Blue, Bey pretended to be pregnant. Bey quickly spread the word about Blue's arrival on blogs when they brought Cathy out and gave birth. Katt Williams, who was the last person anyone expected to become involved in this, began speaking and is now backed up by Jaguar's allegations. People had truly forgotten about until the release of Beyonce's album Cowboy Carter last year. This was the case. Daughter, a song on the album, is thought to be Beyonce's admission that she killed Cathy. In the song, Beyonce is said to have told her lover that she had assisted her in hiding the fact that she had unlived her beloved's mistress. Additionally, some people think that the song's title alludes to Blue Ivy, the daughter Cathy was allegedly carrying when she passed away. In the words, "Your body is spread out on these filthy floorboards. My homemade clothing is stained with your blood. Let me write in, bathroom attendant." She was really amazed. "I made every effort to remain calm, yet your haughtiness shattered my solitude. You're all black and blue now since I tore your dress. See what you forced me to do." They keep repeating that I'm not like my father at all, despite the fact that I'm the total antithesis of altar boys and choir boys. "I'm going to be like my dad if you cross me. I am cooler than the Titanic's water." As I mentioned before, some individuals believe the music was merely a song, while others believe the words were too complicated. Even though Cathy was allegedly killed by a brain aneurysm at the time of her death, more study was conducted over time, and some things simply didn't add up. We should go back to August, given the timing of her delivery and Cathy's death. Many people find it strange that Beyonce announced her pregnancy on the 28th of 2011 at the MTV VMAs. According to reports, Bey gave birth to Blue on January 12, 2012, during Cathy's alleged pregnancy. Cathy was also discovered dead at her house a few days prior to Beyonce's due date. Beyonce unexpectedly announces the birth of Blue at the beginning of the new year. Well, people still believe that Beyonce and Jay blew through surrogacy by using Cathy as the surrogate, and that Cathy was never actually pregnant. As you can see, in relation to surrogate bears the embryo in gestational surrogacy, but she's genetically unrelated to the child. The sperm and eggs of the intended parents are used to generate the embryo. This kid has none of the surrogate's genes, but it does have the genes of the intended mother and father. This explains why, despite the fact that Bey is supposed to have never carried Blue, Blue looks like Bey and Jay. See why some people believe Bey was never truly pregnant by seeing this footage of her growing baby bulge while she was seated.
Must have been a fake baby bump, visually collapsed as she sat down. I admit, that did look weird, but maybe it was a weird camera angle. Or maybe she wears extra padding to keep her due date a secret. And yes, maybe Beyonce isn't actually—
Are there many pregnant women you know that sit with their belly protruding like that? Rumor has it that when Cathy gave birth, Beyonce kicked her out of her house because she didn't want her to start dating Jay again. Furthermore, since Cathy is no longer alive, there is little possibility that she will ever come out to expose. Can we also discuss how the hospital received over $1.3 million from Bey and Jay to close the venture floor that Bey was allegedly providing? Was Blue born? I wonder whether it's ever that serious. Unless, of course, there's some shady conduct going on that the public shouldn't be aware of. Probably. Additionally, Bianchi's song Anger had this extremely wicked and terrible poem in which she describes how she would do anything, including dressing in her ex-lover's skin and hair to be able to hold him to her forever. Everyone, pay attention.
If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine, her hair over mine, her hands as gloves, her teeth as confetti, her scalp a cap, her sternum my bedazzled cane. We can pose for a photograph, all three of us, immortalized. You and your...
Hollywood Street King said in a since-removed piece that he had spoken with one of the detectives that looked into Cathy's murder, and they informed him that her death was not caused by a brain aneurysm but rather by homicide. I learned yesterday that Cathy Michelle White had unexpectedly departed, according to the report. I started looking into it right away, and guess what? Contrary to what has been extensively circulated online today, Cathy did not pass away from a brain aneurysm. And NIP detective says it's unclear what killed Cathy. We will also get the toxicology and autopsy reports later today. The death is being viewed as suspicious, he stated. The house at 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan was the source of the 911 call. Cathy was taken by ambulance because she was ill. She was sent to Beth Israel Hospital, where she passed away. It was premature to speculate that she might have suffered an aneurysm. Later today, an autopsy will be performed to determine the cause of death. We'll have to wait 2 weeks for the results of a toxicological test since Cathy may have contracted a horrible infection from someone. A prominent publication that was looking into the Jay-Z link contacted Cathy 2 weeks before her passing. She provided them with very little information, but one of our sources claims that after speaking with the tabloid, she called Jay and threatened to make their affair public unless she received payment. All of this occurred within the last 2 weeks. Then, a little more than 48 hours after it was revealed that Beyonce was expecting Jay's kid, the young woman passed quite suddenly under strange circumstances.
Taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand, see?
But she wasn't finished yet. Jaguar reappeared and discussed the story in more detail in a later interview, including the claims that Beyonce had faked her pregnancy and taken Cathy's unborn child out of her womb before removing her. It turns out that Blue Ivy is the child Cathy was expecting prior to Jay taking her away.
Girl, why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Cathy White.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary fucking aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the f was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is f***ing you. And the boss's boss don't get no Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. You right, I go to Diddy parties to walk mother out, cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo. Oof. Don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Cathy. Cause you ain't protecting you.
Renowned journalist Liz Crokin also charged Jay with being responsible for Cathy's death. In fact, only a few days before she died, Liz was preparing to speak privately to Cathy about her affair with Jay. When Kanye West claims that Jay-Z has a myrrh, I think he's making a reference to those who have Cathy White. My conversation with the reporter just before your supposed mistress's death was cut off. I understand everything. I know what you're doing. Get out of here. It's your turn now. Diddy may be able to share a cell with you, adding, justice is on the way. Like Diddy, Jay-Z will eventually be exposed for spirit cooking. I would know. Jay is correct. And Kanye said that for a reason. To put it simply, he is evil. I hope Cathy White will receive justice. False idols will keep falling. Pay attention to what I said. Katt has reportedly refrained from publicly discussing these claims with Jay and Bey because he does not want them to threaten to sue him, like they did with Jaguar when she appeared on Piers Morgan's show. But darling, he still seems to think that Blue isn't Buzz's biological child. Many people, I think, agree as well. By asserting that Blue had been taken from Cathy by Bey, which further validated his claims. Someone stated, if Blue was born January 7th, that means when Beyonce announced being pregnant, she was allegedly 4 months pregnant, which means her stomach shouldn't have been that big at the VMAs. Back in 2017, I read about this with that deflated baby bump, stated another. I didn't want to think about taking it out of my algorithm, but once more, here we are. Now though, I want to know what you think. What do you think of Katt claiming that Bey and Jay caused Cathy's death? Is it true that everyone believes Blue is a surrogate child? Please feel free to express your opinions in the comment section below. Additionally, remember to click here to view this other pornographic movie.